Something amazing just happened. We left where they were hunting and we came to where the cubs were, and surprising enough, it looked like the hunt was aborted and everybody decided to regroup back to where the cubs were. And one amazing thing I can tell you is that I have witnessed that all 4 cubs are alive, and one of the youngest one that was missing yesterday, it's rather very weak and has got a limp on its back left leg. I wish I could cross over the other side, but those are them there. No, those are the older ones. The younger ones have moved to the left. So in a moment, I'll try and... Actually, those ones are the young ones. Yeah, they are there. I don't know if the one that was missing yesterday is there, but yes, this one is even better than the hunt for me. Whoever didn't join us yesterday, we witnessed 3 cubs, and then there was one that was in big distress, trying to get out of it was trying to come out, but it couldn't make it. I just saw it following its mom, and it had a limp. I don't know how I can cross here. It's rather hard because in front of me is a big dish. They are across the other side. I'll see what I can do in a moment, and so I can share this with you, but it's really amazing. What you're looking there, it's the older cubs. It's not the youngest one. The youngest one have gone slightly to the left with Mitty, their mother. And this time, actually, she was waiting for the young one, which is quite beautiful. It's actually really loved it, that, she waited for the little guy to climb that little cliff over there. They were inside, she came and went across, and they all followed, but they turned to the left and disappeared off somewhere there in the bush appearing right now. They disappear off there, and I can't see them. But if I try and reposition, maybe I'll see them. They're somewhere. Let me see if I can find them with my spotlight, and then I'll be able to position so I can share that with you. It's actually very moving for me to experience that, and I'm so happy that they're all still alive, which means if they don't go anywhere, the little guy will be able to suckle, and so it will have enough energy to follow the mom tomorrow. Lily, you said such a fantastic news. Yes, it is amazing news, happy news. It's not always as sad as, it looks. Yeah, it's still alive. Yeah, let me try and do something and see. Thank you very much for everybody who's been following and who was looking forward to seeing the 4th one and, to hear the news. I can hear it yapping just somewhere behind here, which means I have to reverse, which is rather difficult. Yes, while I do this, let me send you to my colleague who's got a leopard down in Duma. And let me do this easily.
There is Tlalamba. She has just woken up, sort of. Now she's gone back to sleep. Lauren Arthur has just sent me a voice message, which makes me wonder or not if she's stuck. I'm toying with the idea of playing it to you live. She doesn't normally use bad language, so shall we listen to it?
Hey James, I am a terrible driver, but we are having a problem with Wendy's clutch. There was an issue with Wendy's steering yesterday, and it went to OPA, and the clutch just jammed or something like that. I'm not sure. So it seems to be okay this now, but we're just both Craig and I are just a little bit worried if we have to go off-roading for the drone tonight. So I just wanted to update you and see what you think.
Let's just listen to the first bit once more. You ready, everybody?
Hey James, I am a terrible driver, but we are...
Sorry, just once more.
Hey James, I am a terrible driver, but we are...
Okay, great.
So Hosana is just currently on a mission. He's just literally got up from the most beautiful position we had him in, and he's just darted off. Now I'm going to drive a little bit slowly because of what happened to the clutch, which I will explain. I'm not going to let James do this to me, but let's just find out where he went. We're losing light as well, which is not going to help us find this cat. Did you see where he went, Craig? Do you know, he has been sitting absolutely perfect. Okay, there we go, he's up ahead. I don't want to disturb him, so we're just going to hang back. He's definitely onto something, but I can't see what he's onto. He's just gone completely flat on the road. You could almost mistake him for a log if you were driving. But I don't see what it is he's looking at. Do you see anything, Craig? Nope. Oh, it's a warthog. It's a warthog. Oh. Okay, we can share this moment with the world. Hosana is right next to the warthog. The warthog appears to be looking in his direction. The warthog's moving off. Hosana's following. Okay, everybody, we've got a male leopard here. We have a young male leopard here stalking a warthog. We're just going to get into position. We don't want to interrupt. We're coming to you live here from South Africa. Now, this is Hosana, a young male leopard who just had a warthog go just mere meters in front of his face. Where did that warthog go, Hosana? He's on the hunt. He's been checking out potential prey for quite a while. It was impala at first. But I cannot see where this warthog has gone. He's stalking. Ashley, my nerves too. My nerves too. That warthog was a big warthog. Hosana obviously didn't feel close enough at the time to pounce. Or he felt like he'd been seen. Warthogs obviously have big tusks, which could potentially do some damage if the hunt went wrong. So I think we're going to switch possibly here as we're losing light into infrared. So it will look black and white to everybody watching. But this is because we're losing light here and we don't like to use artificial lights on the animals. So we have now switched into infrared. Leopards they rely on the element of surprise. And also, as I mentioned, that the warthog may have spotted them, so it wouldn't have been a surprise, and they are equipped with dangerous tusks, so it's a weapon. So maybe he just decided it was safer not to go for that one. But wow, thank you for watching. That could have potentially been an incredible night for Hosana. So thank you, everybody, and we're sorry that the hunt didn't go quite as planned. But anyway, we're going to stick with this cat and see exactly what he does get up to.
Here we are. And all four are here. The one holding on in Mama's teeth is the weakest one. The two, you see that one suckling, the one behind, the one hidden, she's very busy getting what she's been missing. You see that one behind, this one facing us, that is the one that I was very worried about. And actually now, I can breathe. All four are here. And the little guy drinking, there is, a future. There is some light. For her or him, I don't know what it is. You can tell these three little guys are not very hungry. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Well, here I am. so happy, very excited. My name is Isaac Rotich, and on camera is Bungei. And what I have here is amazing 4 little cubs. Today, there are 4. Yesterday and the other days, there were 3. It was by just a miracle that we noticed this faint noise calling from a laga, behind all these beautiful ones. Yesterday, I stayed to see if the little guy would come out, and it didn't. But this evening, it is suckling. From all our live coverage that we've been giving you the previous days, you will notice there has been only 3 cubs, but this one suckling very tightly on its mama's nipples has been missing this highly nutritious fast milk. And this Becky, thank you. I'm thankful that you're appreciating. You can tell the little guy is tightly glued to its mommy's tits for this highly nutritious milk that it needs in the first few weeks and months, and it has been missing this. You cannot believe this, but the little guy survived for more than 5 days without mommy and without milk. You can tell by the size. You see those ones, those 3, see how big they are. Look at the little one, he's very weak, he's not as big, and he's not very happy to play. So the other guys are actually bullying him. I thought he had a deformity, but actually he's quite fine. You see, he's still wanting some more milk. This is amazing, guys. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I'm so chuffed. I hope you're feeling the same. And Deborah, you ask, where did they find it? It was here all along, but for some reason, it didn't follow Mom for that long 1 kilometer trek when they killed the buffalo. I'm still wondering how the mom took the 3 to the buffalo kill and then bring them back. And I assume during that movement, she left the little guy because, he thought, he was dragging behind. But lucky enough, she came back to the same spot and so reunited everybody. But yesterday, the little guy was calling and calling and calling and calling, trying to come out of the ditch to suckle, but nobody was paying attention. But miraculously, it survived another long, dark, cold night. And this evening, I'm witnessing it drinking, which is such a beautiful ending. I hope it makes it. Now, all it remains is that, for it to drink as much as possible to give it strength so that it can be able to, fight for the titties when the mom comes. But you can tell, look at that. It's really nice to see that mom is eventually, showing some love. Gator, thank you. What a sight. It is an amazing sight. One of those few that come very few times in a lifetime, and I'm actually quite grateful that you are enjoying this. This is Mitty, one of this is Mitty. Rachel, so you ask if the cubs have been introduced to the rest of the pride. If you didn't join us about 2 days ago, yes, they were introduced. There was a big reunion where the 2 males were there. The only one that wasn't there was the grandmother, Kinky, and we think she's gone to give birth somewhere. Remember, this is Mitty, who is Kinky Tail's daughter, and Kinky is already somewhere giving birth. We hope to see her new bundle of joy in the next coming days or weeks. But these ones were born about 4 or 5 weeks, and it's the first time we're actually witnessing them all 4 together. We actually thought there were only originally 3, but we were wrong. Now they're 4. It's really, really cool. Well, thank you for joining me in this short broadcast. I really hope this guy survives. Goodbye and have a good evening. Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm still here. It's just a beautiful scene. And while it unfolds, I'll send you to Steve, who's got the beautiful Hosana, our famous leopard in Duma.
So after all that, we are in a different car and Hosana's just got up. Let's see if we can keep our eyes on where he goes. It's going to be tricky. It's pitch black. Just going to put on a light to see if we can find out which direction he went in. He's gone along this path, so I'm just going to get my spotlight out. Yep, I can see him. He's just up ahead. There we go. Now, don't want to put too much light on him. Yep, so he's just walking along the road up ahead. And I wonder where he's going at this time of night. He's most likely looking. Okay, lost him. Let me just have a look. Okay, I think he's going up on the road further up ahead. It's definitely not going to be easy to keep up with the cat in the dark.
It is family matters here. And claws, tongues, and teeth are doing the work. Some are strengthening their muscles and some actually biting each other. The cub that had been missing is the one seated up, behind the mom now. That is the one. You can tell it's rather small in comparison to the others. I wish it would come out so we'd see all these other ones we've been seeing. The pale one is among those two. I think it's that one that you can see in the middle. You see how very, very fat or very healthy, if I use a better language that everybody likes, is the one in the middle. It is very essential that they drink as much as possible when they're this young, to make them grow fast as possible so that they can get introduced to the first meat. And looks like a very, very happy family now. The mom is grooming herself, cleaning herself. Sorry, Safari-san, you ask if lions get what? Please repeat the question. You ask if they get fireballs from grooming. I think they don't swallow. When they groom, when they lick each other, they don't swallow that. It gets accumulated in the tongue, and then they would use the same upper side of their jaw to push it out of the tongue and then throw it away. So they never get hairballs from grooming. It's very much like us. When you get something in your tongue, you could use your upper side of your mouth to clear the tongue and throw it away. I think this is the same style or tactic that they use. These guys looks like they're very well fed now, and all is left is to play as much as possible. This is how they strengthen their muscles. This is how they develop their hunting skills and stalking skills. And from the beginning, sometimes you can't tell who is male or females, because males are much more dominant from the word go, and they usually grow faster and become bigger because they bully the females and eat most of the food. I'm so happy that Meaty and Kinky Tail are so used to us, and they let us come this close to them every day, and especially at this time of night. It is pitch dark. I can't see them with my bare eyes. We are using our special infrared camera, and with that is so good that it cannot disturb the animals from what they are doing. They don't notice that we're actually filming them, So it's actually quite great and a good experience to share with you. Look.
Well, at this stage, Lauren, we have found a lot of impalas. That is probably mostly what we've seen. It looked like we found some kudus as well at some point. You can see there's a few kind of little warm spots there. Once again, some antelopes that are moving around in the bush. You can also see how they kind of disappear as well. If they're not really kind of in the center of the frame, they can actually become quite tricky to spot. And so, things like leopards and even smaller, if we go to things like civets and aardvarks and genets and those kind of things, they are small in comparison to an impala. And so they're difficult to spot. You've got to kind of really sort of hover over some of the hot spots and just kind of check around and make sure for some sort of movement. There you can see a nice kind of termite mound, how they glow. They almost look like golden kind of nuggets coming out of a lava field. It's almost how I kind of think of it. But so far we haven't seen anything that's moving around that's too small. We're trying to fly a lot away from roads at the moment, just to try and see if we can find any of these nocturnal animals that are potentially coming out of their respective kind of hiding places during the day, and see if we can catch them. Now, of course, in the summer months, things are a lot warmer at this time of the day, so that's why the trees are glowing a little bit. And so as we get cooler and the temperature start to drop this evening and the wind kicks up, so things should start to get a little bit better, and we should be able to actually start kind of seeing things. But there's a really epic view of what a termite mound looks like from the air. Seb is doing a fantastic job at the moment, and so if anything is moving on there or around there, like we were talking about earlier with hyenas or aardvark or something like that, we most definitely would be able to actually pick it up and see it, which is very, very cool. What you can also see from these termite mounds is how there's a hot spot always on the top of the mound. And so we often talk about how we basically we'll have mounds that have ventilation and how they use cooling. And so there's the little chimney that comes out, and that hot air is then all being expelled out the sort of top pinnacle of the mound itself. So it's quite a nice example of how heat is being distributed and lost through that mound, particularly on hot sort of summer days like we've been having. Good, Seb. I think let's carry on. Let's see what else we can find. We had a report that there was some dogs potentially coming towards the western side of the property, so we're going to just have a little quick look there. Now, take care, do impalas move a lot at night? Not that much. They move generally just as the sun is setting. You start to see them moving quite quickly, and they'll go from a sort of thicker area into more open clearings. So you'll start to find them moving into either little openings within the block or onto places like quarantine, fire breaks, around water points, because that's generally a lot more open, and that allows them to be able to kind of stay a lot safer. Remember that a lot of the predators are active at this time of the night, and so if they sit and they kind of stay in hidden areas, there's a lot more chance of them being hurt or being killed. And so it's better that they move into those more open clearings. Once they're in the open clearings, they're actually quite static there for most of the night, and then as that sun rises, so they start going back into the thickets once again. But I'm just kind of having a look at the drone as well, just to make sure that we don't miss anything as Seb is flying. Seb, is there something lying down there? Was that... I just want to have a little quick look and see. So sometimes you've got to do a little kind of loop around the spot that you see, just to try and see if there's any movement. Now, I do apologize if there's a bit of breakup. Sometimes you just get a tree or something that's a little bit in the way, and that causes a bit of breakup as well. So we're just going to try and get a little bit of height. Now, a lot of you are saying you would love to see an aardvark. We've had an aardvark once, haven't we, Seb? Yes, we have had an aardvark once in winter. We found it was about 3:30 in the morning that we found one of those. Really cool animal to see sniffing about from the drone itself, and so hopefully we'll be able to get lucky and we'll be able to find them. It'd be so cool to be able to kind of send somebody like Lauren in to an aardvark sighting and see if we can actually get view of them. I'm not sure if we've had many aardvark sightings on Safari Live, certainly none that I can remember in the 2 years that I've been here. In fact, yesterday was 2 years that I've been with Safari Live, so today is 2 years and 1 day, which is quite crazy to think. It's gone a lot faster than I thought it would, that's for sure. Now, what have we got here, Seb? It looks like some more hotspot areas. Thank you, Emma. Emma says happy anniversary. That's very kind of you. Now there looks like termite mound again, unfortunately. I thought maybe it was something that was moving. You can see how the trees kind of, when they kind of come into focus, they often block mounds and it almost looks like animals that are moving. But essentially what we're trying to do is just go slowly and scan very, very, very carefully as we go. And if we do see spots, you'll often see us rotate around those spots as we try and figure out exactly what we're getting up to and what we are looking at. And then from there we can give the guys a bit of a better idea of where to head. Now, Seb, can we head a little bit more to the west, if possible? Yeah, please. Right, now while we head a little bit further west, see if we can find any signs of these wild dogs that were reportedly coming our way. Let's send you back up into the Mara and to Isaac and see how the little cub is faring. Hopefully it's going to get a good meal and will be on the road to recovery.
I have left my cubs back there. The mom tucked them in and she left them very safe. She's gone out into the plains and I think she's gone to look for something for them to feed on. She actually does need something to eat because by tomorrow it's going to be 3 days since she last ate. Tomorrow, we'll be coming down here to see if we know what they're happening. I'm hoping to find something else on the road on my way home. It is
really cool as well. So there's some ellies that are right kind of near, or just above where the dam is actually. So that's just on the western side of the dam. And you can see ellies are really easy to find. They're probably the easiest of all things to spot and gives you an idea of a sense of kind of scale. But this will be, in all likelihood, all bull elephants that are busy feeding. They've been around for a large portion of the day. Now, I'm just trying to hear if I can hear some alarm calls again. Doesn't sound like it. But essentially, the animals, for the most part, you can see those ellies, they are still feeding. They're using their trunks to grab food. You can actually see it. And so the drone itself isn't really worrying them too much. I think if you fly too low, then certainly, and we try our very, very best to try and keep the drone at a height where the animals are not reacting. If they seem like they're feeding and they're relaxed, then we're perfectly fine. If we drop too low and they seem to kind of move, then we immediately will pull back away from them. So that's all about kind of just trying to sort of figure out what is a safe kind of height for them to feel comfortable. Ivy, no. So the drone is only allowed to fly on Djuma itself. We cannot use it on Chitwa or on Torchwood. The reason also why we don't use it around Chitwa is because obviously there is a noise to it and people stay in that lodge, and we don't want to fly anywhere near lodges where, there's a thermal camera. So it's a bit of an invasion of privacy. So even here on Djuma, we try and avoid the lodges at all cost. We have a sort of no-fly zone around the lodge, and we kind of keep it to just the sort of southern and western sides of quarantine and try and watch from there. But how cool is that? You can actually see this ellie closest to the end of the frame. If you look on its back there, you'll notice that there's two very dark black lines. Now, in all likelihood, those black lines that you're seeing there are bits of mud where she's had a bit of a mud bath, or he, should I say, has maybe had a bit of a mud bath, and the actual kind of mud is caked on top, and so the heat is not transferring through that mud, and that's why you're getting those black lines that are actually forming. But you can see that ellie is still feeding ever so comfortably, and it actually looks like maybe a female and a youngster, unless it's a very small bull accompanying some of the bigger guys, but that looks like potentially a female and her calf. But how cool is that? Isn't that amazing? You can actually even see the back side of the ears is much cooler than the front side, and so it's pretty insane to kind of see what goes on. But that was the direction that we basically saw or heard the alarm calls for impala. So I wonder if there's not something else that's kind of moving around in that area. Right, Seb, I think let's come back towards us a little bit further. The ellies are absolutely wonderful, and so we're going to try and see what else we can find. That's where Seb and I stay. So that hot building that you see there is called Inga's, and that's where Seb, myself, and Jamie, we all live in that area over there. Now, let's see, Seb. I don't see anything moving around. The impalas there look fairly kind of relaxed. They're all sort of spread out at the moment and kind of facing in different directions, but they're not looking all. If you often find when they look for a predator, they'll all kind of face in one direction and kind of have a look and see what's going on. So we're going to try and see what we can find here and try and give Lauren a bit of a better sense of direction as to where we want her to check. And talking about Lauren, let's send you across to her and see where she is at the moment. our Ellies are kind of mobile and moving up towards quarantine, probably to go and feast on some marulas. And, well, we're going to also start being mobile back towards home. It is that time of the day where it's time for us to head back for dinner. And I hope that you had a wonderful afternoon with James and Lauren and Isaac, and with Seb and I later in the afternoon. And I hope that wherever you are, for morning or afternoon. So from all of us, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow for our sunrise safari.